Hi, everyone. Before we proceed with prehistoric art, I wanted to share a personal story that I have of my experience with it. So basically, I've been teaching art history for about 10, 12 years. And every semester, when it was time to teach cave painting, kick things off, I honestly really dreaded it. I found the images of animals, long extinct, applied onto these kind of rough walls deep inside of caves to be pretty monochromatic, basically uninteresting, a little bit boring. So, that with the fact that there's really no context to share with students, no one knows anything about these works of art really. I would have to kind of really work it to try and present presumptive or speculative ideas about the works of art. And so it wasn't really my favorite, is what I'm trying to say. But then I went and traveled to France and visited a cave. And things changed for me. And so I want to show you some images. I have a few of them here. So I visited the Grotte de Niaux cave. My daughters and I went there. And I do have some photos I took basically of my daughters. I am the photographer. There's none of me there, but I was there, and I've just kind of grabbed these from the net to show you. This is the entrance of the cave with this kind of magnificent kind of welcome center here, this huge steel structure. We came up, we parked here, and then we went in, met our guide, and then we went in a group. Here is another cave close by, just to show you how amazing these cave mouths are and how big they are. Basically, we arrived with our group, and we all were fitted out with headgear, a helmet, and flashlights. And then we headed down this treacherously long path through the darkness of the cave. We stopped a few times at various spots along the cave. We saw kind of different sites like this. On the left, I'm showing you some graffiti that was done, as you can see, dated 1689 from the 17th century. And then other spots like this, which are kind of pictographs. They had kind of spots on the wall or a few animals. And in all honesty, they didn't appear to be that different than the way they looked in the photographs in the textbooks that I had found to be fairly unimpressive. And so then we finally made our way, continuing down into this kind of cavernous cave to this area that the majority of the cave paintings were located. And then there on the wall was a bison. And if you look in this image here, you can see that he has kind of been created. So there's this kind of break in the middle of him, this kind of subtle projection on the rock face that is quite kind of interesting and dynamic. And the guide was wearing a spelunking helmet, and she turned her light to candlelight mode. And I found this image. She wasn't dressed like this. She was just wearing candlelight. And it basically changed the entire environment within the cave, creating this kind of flickering light effect. And when she did this, it was quite extraordinary. There on the wall in the flickering light, I looked at the bison, who literally appeared to be dancing. His head, for real, a turn, were looking like it was moving back and forth on the wall. It was an illusion of the candlelight on this kind of projected area of the wall. It was really, really incredible, and honestly, it sent shivers down my spine. My heart began to race in my chest, and the guide explained that most likely our ancestors have chosen this space because it was so cavernous. And let me show you what it looked like. Looked like this. It was literally, we looked up, the ceiling soared 50 feet above us. It was absolutely incredible. And the guide explained that most likely our early ancestors had chosen this cavernous space deep inside the cave because of the unusual acoustic qualities that it offered, and that the music had been part of events that would take place there. And I realized at that moment that the pictographs were part of a full body sensory experience that had surpassed anything that I could have imagined before. And basically, I had totally underestimated cave art and cave painting. So please keep this in mind when you look at these somewhat dull images of cave painting.